What's going on, everyone? And welcome back to the channel, guys. Today, we are going to be ranking all of James Cameron's filmography. With the release of Avatar: The Way of Water, I figured now's a great time to do this. I mean, what better time to do this, right? And there's not very many. I've only got, what? Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 movies here because I'm excluding some Piranha movie that he like co-directed that I think was like his first film. I'm excluding that, but because I've never seen that, I don't really feel the need to. Does it really even count? It's sort of like that movie that M. Night Shyamalan made, like that the first one he made before he made The Sixth Sense, whatever that was called. Does that really count? Kind of the same thing. So, excluding that, I got all of his filmography right here, and we're going to rank it from 8 to number 1. Now, James Cameron is one of my favorite directors of all time. Anybody's into filmmaking loves James Cameron's movies. He's never really made a bad movie, ever. All 8 of his movies are pretty awesome, so good for him, you know? I mean, even Nolan, like, has made movies that some people thought it got somewhat mixed reactions, but it just seems like everything that James Cameron has done has been mostly positive. So good for him. He's an amazing director, and he deserves credit where due. I can't wait to go back and see Avatar: The Way of Water again. I still haven't done that. I've only seen it once, and I really want to go back and see it again. So hopefully I can do that next week. But let's go ahead and get started at number 8. At number 8, we have True Lies. This is my least favorite James Cameron film. Now, this isn't a bad movie, and this is probably the last like real good one that Arnold Schwarzenegger was in. I like this movie quite a bit. Arnold Schwarzenegger's great in it. Jamie Lee Curtis is great in it. My problem with it is the whole cheating subplot. It really takes up the second act of the film, and it's like you have an action movie, and then it just becomes this like romance drama, and then it goes back to being an action movie, and it's kind of off-putting. So I've never thought this is like a perfect film, but it is a pretty fun action film. You just don't really get action films like this much anymore. I mean, they had this whole great chase sequence on this really long bridge. Arnold Schwarzenegger's on top of a jet, a moving jet. Like, it's pretty awesome. It's a real fun time. I would definitely prefer to watch Total Recall over this, but this is probably the last great Schwarzenegger. And that's really sad to say because this movie came out in like 1994. But this is a real fun time. If you've never seen True Lies, I highly recommend it. At number 7, we have Avatar. Avatar is a movie that is always much better in theaters. And yes, it does lose some of that magic when you watch it at home. And yes, I get it's a very traditional story being retold in a very non-traditional way. I don't mind that. If you could take a traditional story and do something new with it, like Avatar did, awesome. Like, yeah, it's the Dances with Wolves story, but it's nothing like it, really. It has the same story beats, but they're on a different planet with aliens, and the aliens are fighting dudes in mech suits. Like, this is nothing like Fern Gully and Dances with Wolves, okay? Avatar is an awesome movie. It's not perfect, and like I said, it does, when you watch it at home, it doesn't have the same effect, but Avatar is an awesome movie. I've always really liked Avatar. I've reviewed it on the channel. Go check it out. It is a really fun movie. Yes, it's got, some writing issues. I'll admit the villain's motivation isn't quite there, but it's got great characters, a lot of heart, amazing action, some of the best special effects of all time. How can you not like Avatar? I mean, seriously. Like, if you don't love it, that's fine. I don't necessarily love it myself, but it's Avatar. Avatar is awesome. Number 6. At number 6, we have Titanic. Now, here's the thing with Titanic. This is a great movie. I have only seen this when I was a kid. And then when I saw Avatar The Way of Water, I was like, you know what? I need to rewatch Titanic because when I was a kid, I thought this movie was super boring and I hated it. And I saw Avatar The Way of Water, I was like, you know, it's been a really long time since I seen Titanic. I need to rewatch Titanic. So I've rewatched Titanic, and guess what? It's a great movie. Now, the whole sinking thing doesn't really happen until like an hour, I think an hour 38 minutes into it is like when the iceberg first gets spotted, and the movie's a little bit over 3 hours long. That's a long time to wait for the movie to kind of get to the point, but all the stuff before that is great too. But once the iceberg actually shows up, the movie completely takes off, and it is just fan freaking tastic. Titanic is a great movie, not a perfect movie, maybe not as good as some people like to say it is. You know, I've heard this is like the greatest cinematic experience of all time. I wouldn't say that, but Titanic is a really great movie. The acting is fantastic. It's got a really good story. The special effects are amazing, and it's a really, really suspenseful movie. Like, this movie takes a lot out of you to watch it. All these people screaming for their lives and drowning, and it takes a lot out of you to watch Titanic. Like, you definitely got to be in. You definitely got to go into it prepared, but it's a cinematic achievement. It is. It's a cinematic achievement. Titanic's awesome. At number 5, we have Avatar: The Way of Water. Yeah, it's still in theaters, so here's my Blu-ray copy of Avatar. Yeah, Avatar: The Way of Water is freaking awesome. Go check out my review for it. I uploaded a lengthy review for it. I absolutely loved it. I thought it was a little bit better than the first one. It is so much fun. The special effects are beautiful. Jake Sully's awesome. Neytiri's even more awesome. The kid characters are surprisingly not annoying. The action is awesome. It hits you in the feels. It has a good environmental message. Avatar: The Way of Water is an awesome movie. Not a perfect movie, but an awesome movie. Go check out my review. At number 4, we have The Abyss. It was kind of, I was a little bit stumped between Avatar: The Way of Water and The Abyss, but I think if I wanted to revisit Avatar: The Way of Water and The Abyss, it would be The Abyss. The Abyss is one of the most underrated movies ever made. If you've never seen The Abyss, you have to watch The Abyss. This is the extended cut. Watch the extended cut. It is awesome. I mean, it's so cool. It's very similar to Aliens in how it's isolated. Michael Biehn is in it. There's a creature that I won't spoil if you've never seen it, but it's pretty awesome. The special effects hold up amazing. I know that this was like one of those hell production movies, but man, I think it was worth it. This is an incredible movie. The ending is just fantastic. This is such a fun, suspenseful, deep sea adventure thriller. I love The Abyss. I love this movie. If you don't like The Abyss, tell me in the comments, why don't you like The Abyss? The Abyss is awesome. The Abyss is amazing. The Abyss is, it's like, it's The Abyss, dude. It's awesome, okay? If you don't like The Abyss, just, I don't like you. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I love you. Don't leave. But The Abyss is an awesome movie. This is just such a fun, suspenseful thriller. There's fights in it. There's cool sea creatures. It's awesome. I love it. And number 3, we have The Terminator. The Terminator, I had to come around to it. I think it wasn't until like the 3rd or 4th time I watched The Terminator where I was like, okay, now I really get this movie. The Terminator is awesome. It is a suspenseful, nail-biting, edge of your seat, chase, action-packed, awesome, macho, manly thriller. It's one of the coolest movies ever made. It is. And this movie has inspired a lot of filmmakers. It's inspired a lot of other movies. Like RoboCop, for example, was heavily inspired by The Terminator. And the RoboCop is arguably an even better movie than Terminator. I don't know if everybody watching would agree with that, but The Terminator is awesome. Arnold Schwarzenegger was perfect for this role. This was the movie that really helped put him on the map. It's based on a nightmare that James Cameron had, and it's scary. It feels like a nightmare. You're with it all the way through. It's so awesome. And Sarah Connor is such a cool character, like one of the best action female characters ever. She's just awesome. Really becomes awesome at the end of the movie because she has this great character arc. I reviewed this on the channel as well. The Terminator it's one of the most heavily, I feel like this movie is like one of those movies that really heavily inspired future filmmakers and future projects. I think there's a lot of stuff that was heavily influenced by the Terminator, and it's iconic. I mean, I'll be back. Like, it's the Terminator, dude. It's awesome. And number 2, we have a movie that I was sorely wrong about. I've talked about this movie on the channel before and said that I hated it and thought it was overrated. I recently gave it another chance, and I could see how incredibly idiotic I was. Number 2, we have Aliens. Look, I've seen Alien by Ridley Scott, directed by Ridley Scott. I've seen that movie twice, and both times I absolutely hated it. Maybe one day I'll learn to love Alien, but I hate Alien, and I definitely hate Alien 3. But Aliens is so cool. It's so fun. It's so awesome. It's so suspenseful. It's so action-packed. Aliens is one of the best movies ever made. It really, really is. I can't believe I didn't like this movie the first time I watched it. Now, this is the extended cut, so it's a little bit longer than the theatrical cut. And for me, I think the first time I saw it, it was because I was like, okay, when are we getting to the action? Because there is, it does take quite a bit of time to really get there, but all the stuff before that is awesome too, okay? Maybe the extended cut is a little bit too long. Maybe I understand there are things that probably didn't quite need to be there that kind of took away from the pacing a little bit. I'll admit. But look, Sigourney Weaver is awesome in this movie. The special effects are timeless. The ending with a mech versus a clean alien, so cool, man. It's just, and when she's trying to go get Newt and the whole place is like gonna blow, and it's just so suspenseful. I mean, Aliens is inspired filmmaking. It's one of the best movies ever. I absolutely love Aliens. And at number 1, you probably saw this one coming. Yeah, it's Terminator 2 Judgment Day. Terminator, I mean, what can you say about Terminator 2 Judgment Day that hasn't already been said? Terminator 2 Judgment Day is arguably the greatest action movie of all time. Arnold Schwarzenegger's amazing. John Connor's amazing. Sarah Connor's even more amazing. Robert Patrick in this movie as the T-1000 is just so freaking cool. And can you believe that role almost went to Billy Idol? Fun fact for you. This movie progressed CGI. James Cameron did that twice. He did that with Terminator 2 and he did that with Avatar. He really helped. This movie even helped set the foundation for Jurassic Park. In case you didn't know that, the technology used on this helped make Jurassic Park. It uses CGI when necessary and only when necessary. It has great action set pieces involving helicopters and trucks and cool fights between the Terminators, motorcycles. Terminator 2 is a heartfelt, action-packed masterpiece of filmmaking, and it definitely deserves to be number 1 on this list. All right. That's my ranking for James Cameron movies. What are your rankings for James Cameron movies? Please let me know in the comments down below. I really want to hear your opinions on this. Yeah, that's it. I got tons more content coming. I got a lot of stuff planned. So I hope you enjoyed this, and thank you so much for watching. Subscribe to Potty Entertainment for more. Hit the like button. Leave me reviews, suggestions down in the comments down below. Follow me on Instagram at Potty Entertainment for channel updates and other stuff, because I'm on Instagram like every day. So go follow me on Instagram, please. That would be awesome. I'd really appreciate it if you did. Thank you for watching. Much love. I'll be back.